So we're going to move on to Week 5 at the New England Patriots. It's another 1 o'clock game. Haven't had many of them in the early portion of this season, but this is a 1 o'clock game at New England. If you guys watched last night's show, my best friend's a New England Patriots fan. We swept the Patriots last year. Nice to see. And I'd love to see us do it again this year, but we need to
I'm
win
sorry. We
first.
swept them again.
Yes. Yes. And I'd love to see us do it again this year. But will we? Josh, how are you feeling about this game?
I mean, look, Tua's undefeated versus the Pats, right? And I honestly don't see that changing in both games this season. I think we sweep them again. I think we have their number. They are clearly rebuilding, right? They traded away their best player or their best defensive player in Judon. Their other best defender is on injured reserve, I think, or is injured. I believe Christian Barmore, I think is his first name. And I think at this point in the season, I think that Jacoby Brissett is showing New England coaches that he's Jacoby. And so we're going into a game where May is starting for the first time. And so you couple a rookie head coach with a young offensive coordinator, with a young rookie quarterback, with no wide receivers. I think their best player on their entire team that will be fielded in this game is Ramondre Stevenson. And I think we just key in on the running back position and force a rookie quarterback to beat us. And it's not going to happen.
I love it. I think I agree with you on this one too, Josh. Anthony, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think this team is as devoid of talent as people want to make it out. They have some good pieces on defense, especially. Some of you guys may remember Devon Godchow, or however the heck you say his last name, former Dolphin in there in the middle. But they picked up Uche as well, and their defensive backfield's pretty good.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez is getting back. Yep.
What's that?
Christian Gonzalez is coming back from injury, and he's a stud.
Christian Gonzalez, he was great, man. He was really good. So I think defensively they will be okay. Offensively, I'm not so sure. Maybe nobody has a worse offensive line than us, but New England at this point. I think it's an easy win. I would actually, if I were them, they should play May. Like, I know Patriots fans I don't want to see Drake May this year, but why not? Get the kid in there. I will never forget Peyton Manning saying the only way I got better was to go out there and play in real snaps. So anytime, I know the Packers have successfully now benched 2 quarterbacks in a row and had them become superstars, but I don't know, man. Anytime somebody suggests benching them, I just kind of cringe a little, especially if it's for a guy like, Jacoby Brissett and not Aaron Rodgers.
I go back and forth on this one, Anthony, but I'm kind of the mindset that behind an offensive line like that, you could turn him into a David Carr. You could turn him into a Sam Darnold. I remember when Sam Darnold was back there saying, I was seeing ghosts. When your quarterback says that he's seeing ghosts, you done failed somewhere along the line. Whether it's your weapons or your offensive line or your coaching, somewhere along the line you failed this guy. And for Drake May's sake, I think they should sit him because that offensive line is bad, and he will get murdered behind that offensive line. Whereas Jacoby Brissett, he's been doing this a long time. He's, make him the sacrificial lamb.
He's been getting murdered for years.
He did look good for Cleveland last year, right?
Yeah,
he looked pretty good. So,
all right. So we have this penciled in as a W, but I still want to hear your thoughts on this one, Steve. What do you think?
Yeah. So I tried to think about this like a Patriots fan, and it was hard to put myself in that brain space. But I thought to myself, how do we beat Miami? And honestly, I didn't know the answer to that. They got rid of their best player in Judon. Their head coach is probably still their best linebacker, and he's as close to a Super Bowl as they're going to get. Honestly, he is literally as close to a Super Bowl as they're going to get.
That's great.
I as well wouldn't play Drake May. I don't think if you play him this year, he's going to have a Brady Quinn type of season. He's never going to get his bearings going. He's probably eventually going to get passed to another team. Never finally get a signal caller under his belt that he can get a repertoire going with. So I think they should sit Drake May. I think they should rebuild around him, give him a season to learn, and move on from there. Ramondre Stevens might need to find a new home after this. His talent is way too good to be on the Patriots, and they can definitely get something for him. I mean, they obviously don't like talent. They got rid of Judon. So, I don't see New England winning this game at all. I think they're going to go for the sweep of the win.
All right. Well, that means we have the Dolphins going 5-0 right now, and they are going to be 5-0 going into their early Week 6 bye. I hate the Week 6 bye, by the way.
Oh yes, I hate it.
It's honestly an unfair advantage for teams that have a bye in Week 14. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, I bet you they do. They always get a late one.
Script.
Yeah. Week 6 bye. That's kind of brutal.
Yeah.
But we're going to be coming off the bye and traveling to Indianapolis. Shane Steichen is the head coach. Anthony Richardson coming back as the quarterback. Talk about offense. Talk about good offensive lines. The Colts might have the best offensive line in the NFL. So I started with Josh last time. I'm going to go to Anthony on this one. What do we think about the Dolphins' Week 7 matchup against the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis?
I find the Colts one of the toughest teams to figure out, honestly, because we saw Anthony Richardson kind of do a lot of great things last year in 3.5 games or something like that he played. Absolute monster on the ground, but to his own detriment. So will he still be playing by the time we face them in Week 7? I have no idea.
Fair question to ask, yeah.
Right? So I think the health of their quarterback is going to matter a lot. But they have Joe Flacco. That was a good grab by them, picking up Flacco to back him up. Defensively, I think they're a little sneaky. Made some good moves. They took Raekwon Davis from us this offseason. They drafted Latu and the first defensive player in the draft this year, who has looked great in the preseason. So I think their front seven is sneaky good at this point and is easy to sleep on. That being said, I do have a win for us with this one. I think that if you can force Richardson to throw, that this is very similar to the previous commentary I made about Geno. If you force Richardson to throw, you put the ball in his hands and bank on your defensive backs, right? Don't let Jonathan Taylor get going. Don't let that happen, right? That year that they would not run him in the playoffs after him carrying them to the playoffs was absolutely the most unbelievable thing I've seen on TV. This guy carried you literally on his back to the playoffs, and then you decided not to run the ball.
Very Pete Carroll Super Bowl-esque, if you will.
Yeah. One of the crazier decisions that I've certainly seen. But I have us winning it. I don't think it's going to be easy. I do think it could potentially be tight depending on who's playing at quarterback. If Jonathan Taylor gets going, we may be in for a loss here, boys. He is one of the best backs in the NFL. So I think this is going to be offensive-minded. 35-32, 35-28, something around there. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one.
Okay. Steve, Indianapolis, what do you think?
Yeah, man, they're a good young team. They have solid players. Quentin Nelson, interior stud on the offensive line. Jonathan Taylor's poised to have a good year. He earned his money, $42 million for 3 years, and the Colts should feed him. I mean, they should start. That the tires are warm. It's ready to go with this guy, and I feel like at this point in the season, Miami's going to kind of be a little banged up. Luckily for them, it's coming off of a bye week, but I don't really know if that's going to matter. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to find his way into Miami's secondary often, which will open up Anthony Richardson and make some plays with Michael Pittman Jr. I'm not sure the linebackers and the defensive tackles will be able to keep up with Taylor, but I do think that Tua and the receivers are going to go absolutely bananas in this game, and it's going to be an extremely high-scoring game, probably 30 points apiece, and I believe Miami walks out of there with a win. I see maybe like a 32-34. Jason Sanders with a game-winning field goal.
Yeah, for a second there, Steve, I was checking my notes. Like you did have a win here, right?
I had a loss.
He set us up.
So I've done this twice, and I had this game. I've had a loss a lot longer than I didn't. I just changed it to a win earlier today.
I like it.
All right, so we have another win here for the Dolphins. Josh, what are your thoughts on this one, though?
Yeah, I think to keep the win train rolling, I have this as a W2, and I have it in a 24-21 range. I think both of you guys hit the nail right on the head. I think, I have in my notes, limit Richardson's legs, make him throw, because he's not good at that. We don't know what he can do, but it's not really great. I personally think Jonathan Taylor is one of the top 2 running backs in this league. Mm-hmm. However, I don't know if he's healthy for this game, because he has not shown, and I don't think he's been healthy for a full season in years. I could be wrong. I did not fact check that statement, but he is just consistently hurt, whether it's little stuff that keeps him out for a game or bigger stuff that keeps him out for most of a season. I think in a budding trend, at least from my notes on every game so far, I think our upgraded speed at linebacker helps us, especially given Richardson's when the pocket starts to collapse on him, he doesn't reset his feet. He takes off running. So because we have 4 linebackers, and all 4 linebackers and even our edges are fast, all have speed, I think we can contain him very well, which is, to Anthony's point and Steve's point, make him beat you with his arm. He's not going to do it. I think this game, I actually have it written down, Jason Sanders with the late field goal for the win.
I see it close myself. I don't think it's an easy win. I think this is probably one of our toughest, hardest fought wins that we're going to have to get through.
Absolutely. I mean, look at what they do every year on the defensive side. They always feel people like, who the hell is that? But their defense is always very good, and I don't think that's going to change.
It's a tough stretch right here coming out of the bye.
Oh,
we're going to talk about the next 3 games we talk about are all really tough. It's a tough stretch.
So we're going back home after the Indianapolis game, and we're going to be playing the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this is a Cardinals team. They are underrated by a lot of people nationally. I think you have to understand, when they got Kyler Murray back last year, they looked like a completely different football team. They ran the ball effectively. Kyler Murray looked good throwing the ball. And then they started to compile draft picks. Their offensive line's looking better. They draft Marvin Harrison Jr., who, for my money, is probably the best wide receiver prospect we've seen since Megatron.
Good call out.
I think I love what Marvin Harris Jr. brings to the table. He is the total package as a wide receiver. I think he's going to hit the ground running as a wide receiver in the NFL. And we have the Cardinals, Week 8 at home. I'm going to start with you here, Steve. What do you think here, man?
I think Arizona might want to enact the mercy rule. I'm just going to be playing it simple. Yeah, I'm going to be playing it simple. I think the Kyler Murray project is over. I think the Cardinals stink. I think they got Marvin Harrison Jr. He's ultimately going to be a stud in this league, but not this year. I could probably argue that James Conner is their best offensive player, and I don't think that is something to be excited about.
Not Trey McBride.
Trey McBride is my favorite player on their team.
Yeah. I love Trey McBride.
I mean, I think James Conner is going to have the stats that to prove that he's their MVP this year. But regardless, I think Mike McDaniel eventually just tries some new offensive tactics or something here. I think he gets fancy on Arizona, and Miami wins a fairly non-competitive game.
Okay. I didn't see you going quite in that direction there, Steve.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't love
You're not
the
high
Cardinals.
on the Cardinals at all.
No, I don't think. I think Call of Duty is going to come out about Week 8. Kyler Murray. Yeah, Kyler Murray is going to be gone, dude. Like, I don't.
You're savage.
I don't see it happening.
What a savage.
All right, Josh, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, look, let me start by giving Arizona a little bit of shine here, right? I think Kyler coming second year back from he was injured last year, sorry. Coming back from an injury, I personally think Trey McBride is going to be a top 3 tight end, top 4 tight end in this league. I think Connor is a year older. It means a year slower in both the receiving game, which he is featured heavily in that offense, and in the running game. And Buda Baker, it would be remiss of me not to give a shout out to Buda Baker as one of the top strong safeties in this league. But I see this as a 10-point victory, and a relatively easy 10-point victory, 27-17-ish.
Okay. You guys are making this seem a little easier than I thought it was going to. So this is a W, but Anthony, what do you think about this one?
I'm truly shocked. I thought this was one of the harder games to predict for me. I think Arizona's everybody's picking Arizona to be a sleeper team, to be this year's Houston Texans. Well, I don't think that necessarily means it's going to become true. I didn't think I was going to meet anybody who's a bigger Kyler Murray hater than me. If you had asked my friends who's the guy in the NFL I hate the most, they would all say Kyler Murray. I don't like this guy at all. But it's hard. It's hard to combat how good this team got last year when he came back.
Yeah.
And that was without Marvin Harrison Jr. Like you said. For those who don't know who Megatron is, by the way, if you're a little younger, Calvin Johnson played for the Detroit Lions. Was absolutely one of the most amazing receivers to watch play in my lifetime.
I am so blessed that I got to see him play.
Yeah, me too. If you want to know who made Matthew Stafford, go watch Calvin Johnson.
Yes. Yep. And he did it at Georgia Tech. He did it in the pros. First ballot Hall of Famer, just stud.
Unreal. I think Marvin Harrison's fantastic. I actually see this. I was looking at this game similarly to what was it 2 or 3 years ago when we had that shootout with Arizona that we won on the face mask catch or whatever the heck that was, where they ripped Ryan Fitzpatrick's head off.
That was a Raiders game, wasn't it?
The face mask on. That was the Raiders game.
Oh, sorry, face mask was the Raiders game. What happened in this game? I remember this game being brutal.
It was wasn't it 48-30?
Yeah,
it was something ridiculous.
It was back and forth. Yeah. So, I saw it being more like that. I saw it being high scoring. I think the Cardinals could actually be decent this year. I do still have it down as a win. But Kyler, man, if we're going to struggle against Josh Allen, I think, and his legs, I think we're going to struggle against Kyler Murray and his legs, right? I mean, we have too many running quarterbacks we're facing this year, and I don't like it. I'd like to talk to Roger.
All right, so we have another win for the Dolphins. For those of you keeping track at home, the guys here have the Dolphins starting 7-0. 7-0, guys.
We need another one of these sweatshirts right here, right? 2024. Let's go.
Let's do it.
But this is a potential loss coming up here. Week 9 at the Buffalo Bills. Now, normally we play the Bills, we kind of bookend the Bills early and then late in the season. This year, we're playing the Bills in week 2 and then week 9. And we're getting them out of the way. That being said, we have the Jets later on. We have a couple of Jets games later on. Not looking forward to them, but we are going to Buffalo in week 9. Shouldn't be too cold up there in Buffalo. What are our thoughts on this one? I'm going to start with you on this one, Josh.
Yeah, honestly, simply put, until we win in Buffalo, I mark this down as an automatic L. I'm not saying that we can't field a competitive team against Buffalo, but they are a different animal at home. I think, I can see this being a 13-24 type game. It's still going to be a loss. But I think Waddle and Hill probably have a few key drops in this one. And that kind of takes us out of the our rhythm offensively. And Buffalo, like I said, with their home field advantage and their crowd, they're amping them up. It's an automatic L until we do it consistently.
Okay. Anthony, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. I'm not giving them a win in this. As much as I would love to say, we're going to go up to Buffalo and beat the Bills, I am not crazy. Listen, this is the game I hope I'm the most wrong about of any of the games. I would rather lose that first game in Miami and win this game if I had to choose. than anything else in the world. But man, Josh Allen in Buffalo, early November, it's still going to snow. Don't worry, they're going to make it happen. So, I don't have us winning this one. Not much else to say on that.
Steve?
Yeah,
I
have a big L2, but I don't think Mike McDaniel lets this game get out of hand. Granted, we've already had our bye week. We're only going to be on our 8th game of the year, but I think Tyreek Hill is going to be close to 1,000 yards at this point. And I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle. You know, they might have them big drops. Like I said, I don't think they're going to win this game, but I think the ball is going to be in the hands of Hill more than it's not this game. I think he's going to try to do everything he can with some tricky, sneaky plays, but ultimately I don't think it's going to matter. And I think that Josh Allen gets his win.
All right, so you guys have the Dolphins losing their first game in Week 9.
Hey, not bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I'll take
7-1. Yeah, I'll take it.
Definitely.